Hi guys, Jared Rennick, People First Party. Last night the federal government handed down a budget. To be quite frank, looking at it from a big picture point of view, I'll go into the rats and mice later on. It's very disappointing because there is no forecast budget surplus for the next decade until 2035-36. And that to me tells me that the Albanese Labor government doesn't have any solutions to get Australia back on track. And it doesn't have any solutions to solving the fundamental economic structural problems that we have in this country, which of course is higher taxes, too much regulation, high immigration, not enough people being on the tools, building the infrastructure to provide essential services. These are all things that the federal government needs to be leading, and they need to be able to lay out a plan at the budget every year as to how they're going to do that. And they haven't been able to show that they can do that. And that's really, really disappointing, because that means that if we're going to have deficits for the next decade, the debt that our children are facing increases every year. So who knows what the level of debt will be by 2035, 36. But what we do know is that we're letting our future generations down, or in particular the Albanese government is letting future generations down by not actually tackling this issue. If Australia was a business, it'd be rendered insolvent by now. But when it comes to countries, when they can't pay their own way, they eventually collapse and they either end up in a civil war or they get taken over by other countries. It is very, very important that we have a strong economic balance sheet, because I don't need to tell you that money makes the world go round. It what controls you, too much debt, and basically, your savings and things like that are basically going to the bank and not into your bank account, and more importantly, not into our children's bank account. And what's really frustrating about this is that for the last 5 years, I have tried to provide economic solutions to both the former Treasurer Treasurer Frydenberg as well as the current Treasurer Jim Chalmers. I've had meetings with both of them where I laid out all the loopholes in the Tax Act. I've laid out all the problems with our monetary policy. I even had a meeting with the head of Treasury, Stephen Kennedy, for 2 hours where I've laid out all the tax solutions, all the monetary policy solutions, and none of them have ever been taken up. So that is why I'm asking you to vote for People First at the next election, because we are a minor party, but we have the major solutions. And if we can get the balance of power, we will wedge whichever government gets it, whichever major party gets back into office next time, into actually coming up with solutions that can make sure that our children get the same opportunities that our forefathers gave to us, and they can live with a high standard of living just like our forefathers gave to us. Thank you.